So there are a few things happening right now in the car market that let me know that many consumers right now are out there and they're struggling greatly. We've had lots of repossessions actually come through the system at the auction. I'm seeing them go up and up and up. And not only consumer repossessions, but we're seeing dealers that are actually getting their cars repossessed. Yes, that's true. And what a lot of you are saying, I know, is when you hear the word repo, it's like, okay, well, a customer didn't make their payments on their cars, so then they lose them. Well, dealers can actually operate the same way, where a lot of them are financing their actual inventory on a regular basis. And if they don't sell through that inventory, just like a credit card, they have to pay interest on that inventory. These interest payments can stack up, and it puts a lot of strains on these dealers. And if they don't make their interest payments, guess what? Their cars can get repossessed by the bank, just like a consumer can get their car repossessed. Another big tell in what I like to watch on the market is how wholesale prices are going. And if I'm able to actually buy more cars for prices that I think are a good deal, especially in my price range. See, I'm a used car dealer and I sell cars that are $5,000 and under. So if dealers that are buying the same kind of cars that I am, just like you see all these cars behind me, these are recent cars that we just bought. If those dealers are becoming weaker, then that means their consumers are also weaker. If we were selling the lights out of these kind of cars and other dealers were selling the lights out of these similar type of cars, this $5,000 and under range, well, I would not see the wholesale prices come down, and I wouldn't have as many cars behind me right now that we just bought as I have right here. And this is what I like to look at in the market, not only for the market and being able to tell you guys what I see is happening, but just for my small business. And I really have to pay attention to these other dealers to let me know what the price of these vehicles should be and how busy they are. And the weaker that they get, well, the more that I can go in and buy for a good price. Now it's kind of a tricky situation because we've been slower too. So if I go in and I buy all these cars, even if I'm getting better prices, well, on the other side of it, if there's no buyers, if people are a lot weaker, well, that means that my prices have to come down too. I have to move with the market. So we've had to become more aggressive with our pricing. We're making less money right now than we have been, but I'm still trying to stay with the market, and I want to move cars. And the way for me to do that is to buy cars cheaper, sell them cheaper, and just roll volume. That's all I'm trying to do. That's how my business survives. And the other tell I have on the market is here at my car dealership, and that's what people are actually willing to pay me for my cars. See, I'm a car dealer and I sell cars that are $5,000 and under, but right now we're at a stage, I don't know if it's the consumers, the economy, whatever it is, but when we have $5,000 cars out here, we have a tough time selling them. So you're not going to see a lot of $5,000 cars sitting on my lot anymore. We're trying to pull our prices back. We're trying to pull what we buy back to provide what our customers are actually buying. It seems like our sweet spot right now is $3,500. And if we get cars in that we have to price for $45,000, for $5,000, we're seeing that they're sitting longer. And this really hadn't been the case over the last 3 years. We could still sell cars that are $4,500, $5,000 because just people seem to have a lot more money over the last few years than what they have right now. The stuff, the more, I say more expensive stuff, but it's the stuff that's $5,000 on my lot. If it's over $3,500, it's absolutely sitting a lot longer than the stuff that we have for $2,500, for $3,500. It seems like we've acquired more customers. It seems like the bigger slice of pie is actually shifted down, even for my customer base, where we're having to like segment. It used to be like it felt like the segment was okay, $5,000 to $10,000 was that median price for a used car buyer, but now it's even segmented even more. Like it's like a $3,000 and under car buyer, and then there's a $3,000 to $5,000 car buyer, and then there's another tier. So it seems like people are even starting to trade down even on that lower end of the spectrum of what we're actually selling. It's very worrisome for this market because there's not a lot of these $2,500 to $3,500 cars to go around for a lot of similar dealers just like myself that are buying and selling these same cars. So it's going to be very tough for my business going forward to even find those vehicles. Another tell on this market, and really any time that the market, the economy gets softer, there is one type of dealer that actually does very well in that environment, and those are buy here, pay here dealers. Now, what a buy here, pay here dealer is a dealer that you see on the side of the road. They have $9.95 down, and they basically write their own loans for their consumers. These consumers are paying $100 $175 every 2 weeks, whatever it is. And people have asked me a lot, why don't I finance my cars? Why don't I become one of these buy here, pay here dealers, especially in this environment? Because there is a lot of money to be made in that space. Well, you know what? We can talk about that right now.
Do you finance any of your customers' purchases like a buy here, pay here? Any thoughts on that business model?
We don't finance at all. So buy here, pay here is I always have to choose my words correctly when I'm talking about this. I know there's situations where consumers, if they've messed themselves up as far as credit scores, debt, whatever, they only have a little bit of money, but they have to still get to work. I know that buy here, pay here's can be a route that actually, I don't want to say helps, but is the only way that they can actually buy a car. But in almost any other situation, I would never, ever, ever want you to go to a buy here, pay here dealer, because in most cases, you're going to pay 20, 25, even some states, 30% interest on actually purchasing these cars. Speaking for ourselves, in my range of cars, there is so much money to be made if we would finance and we would charge that 20, 25%. But I can tell you what I can't do and what my wife can't do is that if someone calls us and says, Brandon, I'm sick. Brandon, I lost my job. I can't make my car payment. Then we would just end up giving them the car. Like I can't go take someone's car away from them because they can't make payments. So it would turn out to be that our used car dealership would just become this horrible nonprofit or profit organization. And that's not something that we're trying to get into. It just comes down to the fact that I don't like debt. And also we're probably, we're definitely too compassionate for actual human beings to be in the repo business also. So that's not a route that I ever want to take. Now there's situations where a customer will go to their credit union, they'll go to their bank, or they'll even use a credit card to buy some of our cars. And I can't tell people to not buy a car from us because they're using a credit card. I think that's probably illegal. But I don't recommend that they do that, but I can't tell them how to pay for a car. But I'm not going to open up a door for a customer to have financing on one of my cars. They're going to have to figure it out themselves. I'm not going to help assist them in making a bad decision when actually purchasing a vehicle.
I have a question about that.
Yep.
So you said don't buy from a buy here, pay here. What if you're not financing it? Would you buy cash from a buy here, pay here?
No, because a buy here, pay here dealer, the people that actually end up paying for the cars and paying the bills on their car, whether you're paying cash for it or whether you're making payments and actually pay for the car, all those consumers, all those customers are paying for all the customers that don't make the payments on the car. Because buy here, pay here dealers, they know that they're going to lose money on some cars. So in a lot of cases, they might buy a car for $4,000. They'll end up selling the car for $8,000 when it's all said and done, or even more than that when you add in finance and everything like that. When the car is only worth $5,000, maybe even $4,500. And a lot of these buy here, pay here dealers, they go buy mid-range stuff, and I watch them and I talk to them, and they're like, I don't care what the car goes for. I know I can sell this car, and it's going to be $995 down, and the customer doesn't care how much it costs. So in those situations with those buy here, pay here dealers, they're not selling cars for what they're worth. They're selling them for thousands of dollars more than what they're worth, because it doesn't matter to their customers. All that matters to their customers is that, okay, it's $175 every 2 weeks. When I get paid, I go pay for my car. That's what they care about. And they can be in a car right now for $175 every 2 weeks, which is what lines up with their lifestyle and the situation that they put themselves in. So when you go to a buy here, pay here dealer, you're paying way more money than you're going to get it from anywhere else. Even another dealer that just is not a buy here, pay here dealer, you're going to pay more at the buy here, pay here dealer than you are going to be anywhere else. So no, that's not even a place I'm starting to look.
That's interesting. I would have thought that was definitely true for the lower level buy here, pay here, but not necessarily for all of them if it's just simply a financing option that they have.
In most cases, when you're talking about more expensive cars, a lot of those dealers aren't actually holding the notes.
Oh, okay.
They're outsourcing a lot of those loans. Now, there are some big dealers that are, think of it like CarMax. CarMax is a glorified buy here, pay here dealer. They hold a lot of their own notes. When I say notes, they write their own loans, if you don't know what that means. But in a lot of cases, these dealers that are dealing with more expensive things, bigger dealers, it's better for them to actually get hooked up with a bank so they don't have to worry about carrying that paper. They're flipping cars and they're selling back end products that don't have a whole lot of risk. But when they're taking on becoming a financial institute with very expensive cars, that is a ton of risk. And you have to have so much money to be able to back that up. With a buy here, pay here dealer, a lot of these, the cars that they're selling are they're risking $4,000 or $5,000. That's the level of cars that they're buying. But it's not the same when you're going in and buying a $35,000 Porsche off of one of these higher end dealers. In a lot of cases, they're not going to hold their own notes. They're going to package that paper and sell it to banks, or they're already going to be hooked up with banks to be able to get that stuff financed, and it's not going to be in-house.
Here's a good question on that last one. Has the former employee that left to start his own dealership backed with floor plan financing done well?
He actually didn't take the floor plan. He took my wisdom from how I run my car dealership, and he didn't use the floor plan, and he's actually doing, last I checked, very well. Stress level is not good because he's a small business owner, and it's stressful being a used car dealer. But he might have wished he chose a different field. But as far as cars go, money goes, he's been very successful. I'm proud of him in that aspect. But maybe it's taken the wrong kind of toll out on him. So life maybe not so good, but business wise, I think he's doing pretty good.
Yep. For those of you wanting to start a business,
don't do it. Don't do it. Just go work for somebody else.
Ooh, I mean, typically, what is the average? How long it takes to actually be profitable?
5 years.
5 years. That's a long time to not be profitable. And that means you don't get paid, generally speaking.
Yep.
And it's really hard. And you take on all the risk.
And it's like 50% of businesses even make it after a year.
Yeah, it's really quick. They can just turn right around.
Yep. I will tell you, though, I'm not going to say you can't get rich working for someone else, but it's very, very rare for someone working for a company to actually become very wealthy. If you want an actual easier path, no, it works harder, but it's a higher percentage or a higher likelihood for you to actually become very wealthy. You got to do it for yourself. You got to work for yourself. And that's what obviously I'm a small business owner. I'm an entrepreneur. I started multiple YouTube channels. I mean, I work for myself in all these aspects of life, and I've never wanted to work for anyone. I mean, take that with a grain of salt of what I'm saying. But just looking at the jobs that are actually out there, even if you become a very high level employee of a company. I mean, even look at like some doctors, like they make a lot of money, but I'm talking about like real big time wealth. You're not going to get it by working for someone else. It's going to have to come from you actually doing stuff for yourself.
And there's an angle of that works with, if you take on the risk, then that generally would mean that the rewards that come from it, if there are any, would be higher. And that's okay. But it doesn't always work out that way. And then you've got a lot of recovery to do. It can be very messy.
Yeah. Owning a business is a lot of sacrifice too.
It's hard. And then you also have other families depending on you. So it gets tough. When should I buy a car? I'm thinking of an ES350 or Toyota Camry or Avalon. And later on a separate comment said 2018 and above. Yeah,
so I love all these choices. The ES350 is a sweet car. I love it. You're going to pay a lot more than for that than the Toyota Camry. And now the Avalon's probably going to be close to the same price, maybe just a little bit less than what you'd pay for the Lexus. Here's the thing. At the end of the year is the time period, whether you're buying used or a new vehicle, it's the best time to buy at the last week of the year is the best week. The reason why your new franchise stores or big car dealerships, they have to get their end of the month, end of the quarter, and end of the year sales goals. And they have to get them all done. It's like the perfect storm of them. So they're making deals at the end of the year, trying to get rid of stuff. And then as far as used car dealers, like smaller used car dealers like myself, that's the slowest time that we are all year round. So that's when used car dealers are more pinched. So they're going to be more willing to do deals just because there's not a lot of deals out there. People are spending money on Christmas, on the holidays. So they're not buying used cars around that time period from small dealers. So it's very difficult to be used car dealers, and that's the time that we're the most negotiable. So if you're going to a big dealership, you're going to a small dealership. If it's I think she was saying that it's like a 2018, 2019,
2018 and above.
yeah, so a newer used car. Then you're probably going to a bigger car dealership. Then still it's the same facts. I was just saying the end of the year is the best time to buy a car. Dealerships are going to be more negotiable, and prices are going to be the cheapest that they are all year round, right at the end of the year.